What's up, everybody? Hey, I saw a film here. I thought it was going to be a Korean film, and I turned it on and it was Chinese. And I was kind of like, I don't know, do I want to watch this? Because I find Chinese films that are actually produced in China, it's 50-50. Either they're really good or I don't care for them. Where the Korean films, I've never seen a bad one, ever. Just saying. So I watched this film. It was called Bodyguard. And this is going to be a spoiler. So my apologies if you're like, oh no. It's about a retired Chinese government bureaucrat, and I'm gathering from the story, I'm deducing from the story that he was like a field operative of like their version of the CIA or something. So he's an old guy. He's 65 now. Extremely overweight, retired bureaucrat, but he has field experience. So he used to be, like a spy, an agent. He can, back in his young days, he could fight. And the movie opens up where he's at the doctor, getting ready to go on his, it looks like apparently you go see your doctor before you go into retirement. So they can tell you, hey, this is your health condition in your retirement. This is what you need to do. And the doctor's kind of screwing with him a little bit and saying, oh, your pancreas is bad, your heart's bad, your liver's bad, everything is destroyed. And the guy looks kind of freaked out. And he said, no, I'm just kidding with you. The only problem that you have is dementia. And Alzheimer's setting in. Like no big deal. And he's like, yeah, whatever, you'll be fine. Get yourself a recorder, so you can tape record yourself and leave yourself notes and post-it notes and make some extra keys and, kind of have a buddy system for somebody to look out for you, right? So, and this character who plays this retired general is great. He does a fantastic job of being kind of an older person with dementia. I don't know if you've been around it at all. We have. We've had family members who have had Alzheimer's and dementia, and he just seems very expressionless. He seems very void of emotion. There are certain things that he remembers, other things he doesn't, but he doesn't react to them at all. He doesn't freak out. He doesn't get upset. And so he goes home, and we're introduced to Mrs. Park, who is the landlady, and it looks like they're set in a rural village in China right by the Russian border. And she is of Korean descent, and she owns several houses in this village, and she kind of makes her living by renting these homes out. And she's got a thing for Ding. That's the character's name, the retired general. His name is General Ding, D-I-N-G. And she's got a thing for him, and she's a little bit older of a woman, I would say, but not as old as he is, and she likes him and wants to take care of him and wants to be his wife, right? And then we see the neighbor, Lee, and Lee is, kind of a loser. He gambles. He's driven his wife away. He has a daughter who is adorable. This little Chinese girl was adorable in this film, and she is Cherry Lee. And he's absentee, semi-abusive, really doesn't look after his daughter because he's all about him. He's all about kind of getting what he wants, right? And this girl just kind of runs the village. She just runs around. There's nobody checking on her. And she breaks into Ding's house all the time to eat his food, but he doesn't care. Like, he'll just be sitting watching TV, and she comes in through the window and says, hi, Ding, and she goes and gets something to eat and makes him play games with her, like Monopoly or whatever. And she's kind of bossy with this old guy, and he doesn't really say anything or do anything about it. He, she'll say, I want ice cream. I want ice cream, and kind of pulls at him, and he walks her down to get ice cream. He takes her fishing, teaches her how to fish. And there's this nice little kind of relationship building between this absentee old guy who is losing it and this little girl who desperately needs a father figure. And she is also trying to get Mrs. Parks in a love connection with Ding, because she thinks the two should be together, because then the two of them can look out and take care of this guy. So we see her dad Lee get into trouble with the gambling, and the Chinese mob says, hey, you kind of owe us a lot of money, man. What are we doing with your money? When are you going to pay? And he said, well, I can probably pay you in several weeks. And they were like, ha, 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 that's hilarious. No, you're going to pay us now or you're going to die. He's like, well, I don't have any money. And they said, well, no, don't worry. We got a job for you. You do this job, and we'll discuss how much you owe us, okay? And the job is to go to Russia and rob the bratva. And he doesn't know he's robbing the bratva. So he goes to Russia, and you can tell that they're Russians. And I almost don't know if this was a Chinese film or if this was a Russian film. I'm not sure. Because there were a lot of Russians in it, and you can just tell when you see a Russian, they have a certain look to them, and I don't mean that in a derogatory sense. It's just, like you can tell like with Latinos where some are from, just by looking at them. You can tell by blacks, African American. Well, I guess it wouldn't be African American. Just people of African descent. We have people around here from Somalia. You can tell they're from Somalia just looking at them. They don't have the American features, I guess is what I'm saying. Russians have certain Russian features. So, anyways, it's a long way around the barn, isn't it? So, he goes to China to get this bag. They tell him to go get this bag, and it's guarded by the bratva. And this great kind of Jackie Chan action fight chase scene, and we see him get out. He makes it out of the scenario. And he gets into the getaway car with one of the Chinese mobster boss's men, and the guy says, "Well, I guess this will kind of hold you for 3 weeks until you can come up with the money." He's like, "No, dude, this is it. I just did all this. No, this is it." And he beats up the Chinese mobster guy, his boy, and he takes off running. He's on the run now, and so he's on the run. He crosses the border back into China, and now the Chinese mobster is furious about this. And they start putting pressure on the village. They want to know, where is he? Where is he? And one guy talks. One guy says he has a daughter. He has a daughter. So they send 2 guys to go get the daughter, and they find out the daughter is in the old man's house. Okay? And these 2 Chinese thugs come into this old man's house, and they're very filled with bravado, like, "Hey, old man, you better, look out. Hey, you better do." And he is expressionless, and he just walks up to him, and one throws a punch, and he blocks it. And then you start to see this amazing kung fu happen, where it is, it's very much like Steven Seagal martial arts, where it's mostly hands. There's not a whole lot of movement, but he's real fast with his hands, and he's blocking, he's countering, he's breaking wrists, breaking fingers, breaking elbows, and you see him, and it was very, very systematic. And it reminded me a little bit of Shodokan, which is the martial arts that the samurais use, because you're very close, face to face, going at it, and you're not moving, and it's all fighting within your frame. Your frame is from shoulder to shoulder. I'm going to keep here, and I'm going to stay in my frame. I'm going to punch from my frame. I'm going to block in my frame. I'm not going to break the plane of my frame. And he puts a whooping on these guys. And the mob boss is just like, "What the hell, dude? How did an old man beat you up? You guys suck." And they're like, "This is not any order. It's Kung Fu Panda." They refer to him as Kung Fu Panda, which is funny. So, now the girl is gone. The girl decides that she's going to just kind of disappear, and she goes and hides at a friend's house in another village and doesn't tell anybody this. Doesn't tell Kung Fu Panda this. And the dad comes back looking for her because he wants to say, "Hey, old man, look after my daughter. I gotta get out of this town. Keep her safe. I'll be back. Here's some money, and I'll send you more when I can." And as he's leaving, the Chinese mobsters find him, and they kill him. They execute him. And the general sees this, and Ding is trying to get out of his house, but he can't because they locked him in because he's Kung Fu Panda. They blocked his door. He can't get out. And then they set his house on fire. It's like, what? So by the time he gets out, everybody's gone except for the dead body. And he cannot find Cherry Lee. He cannot find Cherry Lee. So he goes looking for Cherry Lee. And it's just a great scene, a great fight scene where he takes on the mob, and he comes up to him, and because he's going to their hideout, and because he's old, Nobody really thinks anything about it until he actually gets down in the lair. Like, nobody stops him. Nobody, you know, he gets down in the lair, and they're like, what the hell is this, dude? What do you want, old man? And the Chinese mobster, everybody realizes that's Kung Fu Panda. So the Chinese mobster goes up to him and tells him, in the count of 3, you better be out of here or you're a dead man. 1, 2, 3. Then Kung Fu Panda gives him 3 slaps to the faces that would make any Indian cop proud. He smacks the crap out of this dude. And then this epic fight scene unfolds. Let's take a look at it, shall we? Let's go ahead and take a look at it. Hey, old man.
我女又嚟咗呢度。
懶得理你啊，賭鬼！
咁你諗住點呢？
我要去避開下。
為咗你，我會埋咗佢。
Dude. Okay, so that's what I was talking about, and I thought the lead character Ding he's just outstanding in this because he's completely expressionless in that fight scene because it goes on for a long time because he beats the hell out of the Chinese mob, and while he's doing it, he's having issues. Like he's like, you know, and then there's another one coming. He's like. And you're like, is this guy going to have a heart attack? And when he finishes them, the Russian mob shows up, and he's got to fight the Russian mob. And there's a funny scene because he got stabbed in the leg earlier in the film, and so he walks with a limp. The Chinese mob boss gets stabbed in the leg, and he's on the run. Like, he's trying to get away from Kung Fu Panda, who's chasing him. But the chase is very slow because they've both been stabbed in the legs. And it just makes... And he's not stopping. And he just keeps saying, where's Cherry Lee? Where's Cherry Lee? And the guy's like, you know, just talking crazy. But he can't get away from him. But Ding can't catch him because they're both like, and it's comical. It's very, very comical. The movie kind of ends where Cherry Lee shows back up. All the bad guys have been taken care of. You know, the police have moved in and rounded up the mobsters. Or they're dead, and Ding is kind of in full blown not autism, I would say autism, full blown dementia, Alzheimer's, where he's not remembering anything, he's not remembering anybody, and we see little Cherry Lee starting to run around the house. This great little scene where she's running around the house, and he's just kind of sitting there like this. Unaware, right? You think he's unaware, and she's playing with him and trying to get his attention and look at him, and she's saying, you know, he wasn't just a father figure, he wasn't just a grandfather figure, he's forgotten everything and everybody. He was my bodyguard. He's forgotten everybody but me. And as he's just sitting there and she's running around and the house is filled with the pitter-patter and laughing and whatnot, you just see him smile, just smile. I started to cry, dude. This thing was action-packed. It was sentimental. I thought a good job, sentimental-wise. I was just like, oh man, this is just. It was really, really good. This was a really good movie. It was well done. The action was believable. It was hilarious to watch the 65 man who had skills try to cope with all, like, you could tell, like, there's one scene where he has to sit down because he's like, my hip is killing me, and he just sits down and he's just like, and then he gets back up and he keeps going. And it was just like, as an older dude, it's like, yeah, you see old dudes rocking it, you're like, yeah, rock it, old dude, because that's I got 20 years, you know, just about to get to where he is, so I still got some time. But it was outstanding. I would encourage you to go see this movie. I really would. If you like good action, if you like kung fu movies, if you like some good story, this was good. There was some good acting in it. The direction was good. The fight scenes were choreographed well. It had a story to it that was, you know, and you could just see. I thought this guy was a genius who played Ding. You can tell he's not remembering things, but muscle memory kicks in. Like, this is like, I have no idea who you are or what you're doing here, and I'm not sure who I am, but muscle memory, and it just kicks in, and he sells it so well. I was just like, man, this guy was phenomenal. This is probably, I wouldn't say this is the best film I've seen this year. This is the film that has surprised me the most. You know what I'm saying? Like, this film was a huge surprise to me. Like, so check it out. It's called The Bodyguard, Chinese film. You'll love it. I promise you'll love it, or I'll give you your money back.